More people are starting businesses this year, and it might be directly related to AI, but not in the way that you think. The Census Bureau announced a record 5.7 million new job applications last year, and that number continues to climb. There are a few things worth noting about this. First, these business applications are primarily driven by one-person businesses that do not intend to hire. To me, that sounds like a lot of freelancers and lifestyle businesses, and I want to talk more about that in a moment. Second note, the New York Times piece I read on this talked about how a lot of these businesses are likely driven by AI. Now, immediately your mind and my mind goes to these jobs are a direct result of people being laid off and they're forced to start their own businesses. Maybe that's part of this, but the Times point out something perhaps a bit more optimistic. When you start a business, you wear every hat. You're the bookkeeper, you're the marketer, you're the administrator, the product developer, and so on. You're everything. The Times point out that AI is making all of these small tasks less intimidating, which may be inspiring more people to pursue their passion projects. In a world where there's a lot of negative AI news, I thought this was a very optimistic take and very cool. Final thing I'll say, if you're part of this cohort of people who just launched a lifestyle business, here are 3 things I recommend as someone who's been self-employed for over 10 years. First, save for taxes. When you're working at W-2, your employer takes out your taxes for you and pays the government on your behalf. When you work for yourself, you still owe those taxes, but you have to send them usually as a quarterly paycheck to the government. Second, turn your cash flow into assets. Most lifestyle businesses are really good at producing cash, but bad at becoming scalable assets for you that compound over time. The best thing you can do is take a portion of your profits and buy things like stocks and real estate. Finally, take the long view. Everyone needs a customer or client today, so today is very competitive. If you take the long view, thinking of how can you find a customer in 6 months, you'll have an edge over your competition who are just worried about what's happening this week. Good luck.